what I wanted to talk about is an initiative at Sanata University that's roughly 10 years old now. It's called Global Social Benefit Incubator. If you're interested in looking at a global network of Jesuit institutions around the concept of social enterprise, that's scheduled for 5:30 this afternoon. The GSBI has basically 4 components. The first of which is deal flow. If you think of, in a sense, the GSBI as like a venture capital firm focused on social business. So what we're looking for is deal flow. And we have several global partners, including the World Bank, that has about 2,500 nominations from the grassroots to the World Bank Development Marketplace competition annually. We run a awards program in Santa Clara, Technology Benefiting Humanities with the Tech Museum. We see about 600 applications or nominations, I should say, each year for that program. And we have other partners, Vodafone, United Nations Foundation, Acumen Fund, Grassroots Business Fund, and so forth. All our sources, if you will, innovation that's happening at the grassroots level in the field of social enterprise. The second component is a combination of distance-based and in-residence education that starts in January. Second week of August on campus, we'll have a boot camp. We'll bring this year 22 enterprises. I'll tell you a little more about the profile of those enterprises in a minute. And then the third component is mentoring. A lot of people have heard of Silicon Valley and they always think, oh, it's where Cisco is, and Hewlett Packard, and Oracle, and Google, and so forth. But it's all about technology, Apple Computer. But in fact, Silicon Valley is about as much about business model innovation as it is about technology innovation, and it's about creating new markets. So mentors are a very important part of our program. A typical mentor has taken a company public on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange or venture capitalist, and they're very, very committed to this program. We have about a 95% year-over-year retention rate of our mentors. So that, I think, is a key element. The final phase is really kind of the ongoing incubation and support of mentors once they finish our program, become graduates. And we have about 100 alumni now. At the end of August, we'll have 122 alumni. So I sometimes say we're the only entity on campus that has both an admissions function and an alumni function. We've taken a long view on these things. This last year, Manuel Castells, who's an eminent social theorist, and myself got together and try to look at it, if you will, an underlying social theory for social entrepreneurship. Manuel is the 5th most cited social scientist in the world, and he's been involved with us for over 10 years and has become very, very intrigued at this phenomenon of social entrepreneurship and what is it. Everybody has a different definition. It's about like sustainability. Everybody has a different definition of sustainability. So we're really looking at the formulation of the theoretical base for social enterprise. So in May, we brought Pamela Hardigan from Oxford, from the Skoll Center for Social Entrepreneurship, Alfred Verney from Second, from Sanjay to campus, as well as Vice President for Sustainable Social Development, Honor Institute of Technology, a partner in India Social Impact, and to gather on campus to really begin to look at this concept. Let me just real quickly, because I don't want to dwell on this. But social entrepreneurship is a whole new game. It's innovation in the concept of entrepreneurship. It's specific entrepreneurship, the extent that it addresses specific challenges. For example, poverty is a system. Most of the enterprises we work with are addressing one or another of the Millennium Development Goals in their local setting. It's about specific capital. Venture capitalists typically want to get their money back with a very significant multiple in 5 years. The average social enterprise is a 10-year slog. It's a much longer cycle, so it's a different kind of capital. That capital base is growing dramatically. In our keynote on yesterday, our speaker said there's $20 trillion of PRI investment. That's a big number, $20 trillion. That's looking for investments in socially, in double bottom line, high social impact enterprises. I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing in that area in a minute. It's about specific technology. Rico mentioned in one of his slides the pervasive diffusion of cell phones. Cell phones are a great platform. There are huge innovations happening all over the world. I can tell you about one in India that we're very close to, Last Mile Health Solution. Al Hammond, who's one of our associates, is the leading that. It's got millions of dollars of funding, including from Procter & Gamble. And there you can do in India a visit using telemedicine for $1 to see a doctor in a village. And they're using all the latest technologies for low-cost diagnostics, off-patent medications, and so forth. So this is transformative. It's about social capital. You heard Tony's talk. I visited one of the GK locations last year when I was in the Philippines, talking about community organizing, the role of government, the role of corporations. This is really very much a team sport, and it's a contact sport. It's about social marketing, not just selling stuff, but about behavioral change. It's about very specific metrics. There are 4 that we think are important. One is social impact, because these are social mission first entities. Second is financial liability. Third is conserving the ecosystem. And the 4th is collective agency, or you might use the word empowerment. So this is an alternative to welfare. It's an alternative to charity as a solution to poverty. And we believe that they're transformative sector solutions that if you look at a given value proposition, I'll show you one in a couple of minutes here, that the total addressable market is huge for these things. There are 1.2 billion people without access to safe drinking water in the world. And so let's look at one example in the safe water area. We just published a case in January at the University of Michigan, Davidson Institute on the Andy Foundation. And this involves a tripartite partnership between, at the community level, with the private sector, the suppliers of membrane technology for reverse osmosis, and community mobilizing and distribution, which is kind of the core competence, if you will, of non-denomination. The TAM in this case is 200,000 villages. There are about 5 million deaths per year from untreated diarrhea. In these villages, $800 million in medical expenses, 100 million working days lost, and it's a huge, huge problem. The solution is a disruptive format model. It's far more effective than charity and welfare. It's sustained by subscriptions, monthly subscriptions, and it allows a family of to provide safe water for a family of 6 for less than $18 per year. The growth of this enterprise when they came to Santa Clara had about 300 communities. They're up now to about 2,000 communities, over roughly 900 of which are through the Andy Foundation. But there are others who now have said, "Oh, this is a very scalable model." So there are now other competitors who come into the space. So with them, that's a great story because the end game is to address poverty more in North America. So but this is a great success story. We documented this in a case study in Michigan. Direct beneficiaries, they hope to go to 15 million from in about 1.5 million, a 10 times increase over a period of about 3.5 years. I won't go through all these details. Let me look at another area, information and communication technology. This area, I'm going to just do a real quick time check here because I want to be respectful of my colleagues and not dominate our time together here. But, this is an enterprise from Nigeria, and it's the fellow on the right. His name is Nameka. He's a graduate of the GSBI. He developed a business plan, and the last time I saw him was this last year at the World Bank Development Marketplace Review. Won $200,000 for his business plan. And what he's doing is he's addressing the fact that there is no extension service that we call the U.S. Extension Service in the agricultural area. So that 1 hectare, 1 acre farmers need access to information that will enable them to increase their productivity in agriculture.